You're alive. That's a workout right there.
This is weird. The first 2 minutes of our lesson on YouTube is gonna be me racing a board. Respect it.
I didn't know he was recording though. Alright, you done.
Hold on.
Oh wait, you missed a spot. Oh,
You missed many spots, but it's fine.
there's still like a couple on the left.
You're strong, Lenny.
Got Palladium
Should be
now.
running concert.
Huh?
Lenny, should be running concert.
Racing a board.
Alright, that's cool. Thank you. So today we're gonna talk about solving square functions. Square function like this, x squared is equal to 4. So a lot of students will end up telling me something wrong. So solving for x here. So what do you think the x is equal to?
2.
2 and
Go
negative
from
2.
negative 2.
Oh, yeah.
2 and negative 2. Here's the reason why a lot of people tend to miss, and especially the people who's on which people have taken the SAT part, they always forget there's a plus minus part. So if you think about the short way, it's gonna be like this, right? X is equal to, I'm gonna square root both sides. So, but people forget about this part, which is the plus minus part. People forget that. And that's end up being wrong answer. And then x is equal to plus minus 2. But let's talk about why it's plus minus 2. Because instead of just telling you there's always plus minus 2, so if I look at a question a long way, that x squared, I'm moving the 4 to the other side, subtract both sides by 4 is equal to 0. So that means I'm graphing this function, x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. That means you're looking for the roots.
X plus 2, x minus 2.
That's right. So you're gonna get plus 2 and x minus 2. That's equal to 0. X is plus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 2 is equal to 0. X equal to negative 2. X is equal to positive 2. So that's why you get plus minus 2 supposed to be here. Now, if I were to graph this on decimals, if I graph the x squared minus 4, you will look at a graph like this. So it's going to be like this. And that's going to be negative 4. And I here it's going to be plus 2. I here is negative 2. And plus 2 is, sorry, this is positive 2, this is negative 2. So that x equal to those two x intercepts here. That's what you're supposed to see. That's why you have two solutions. Please don't forget about the negative one, because that's what's going to cause you problem. Now let's look at this question. Let's see if I have this question says 2. Let's say 3x minus 2 squared. And let's say minus 1 is equal to, let's say, 8. Sorry, not 8, not 8, not 8. Let's go with
9.
let's go with
20.
6,
5.
3,
2.
1, 7.
0.
let's go with 17.
My boy X.
So then we're gonna solve for this equation. Now we're gonna figure out there's a few ways to solve this equation, but we're gonna think about the most efficient way using the something what we learned today. Okay, is something that we learned today. So we're gonna ask you, what did we learn today?
Square root.
You gotta square root both sides, but before we square root both sides, we have to do something first.
You have to
Move the one.
And then
Move the 1, okay, so then we move the 1, we add 1 on both sides.
That'll be 18.
That's gonna be 3x minus 2 squared, that's equal to 18, right?
And then you
And we're gonna divide it by 2. So that's gonna be 3x minus 2 squared is equal to 9. So what do we do now?
Square root both
Now
sides.
square root both sides.
Square root both sides, okay? But don't forget what?
Plus minus.
Because that's a part that usually they will forget about is the negative part, not a positive part, but if you're taking the question, test question like a SAT, they will only check the other one. So we're gonna talk about that. If I square root both sides, square and square root cancel out, that's gonna give you 3x minus 2, that's equal to plus 9, and plus minus 9. And that's gonna give you, says 3x minus 2 is 9.
Why won't it go to 3? Shouldn't it be 3?
Oh, that's 3, remember, thank you. So this is plus negative 3, so that's 3, that's minus 2 is equal to negative 3. So I'm gonna add 2 on both sides. So that's gonna give you 3x is equal to 5, x is equal to 5 over 3. And I'm gonna add 2 on both sides, so that's gonna be 3x equal to negative 1, x is equal to negative 1 over 3. Okay, so now there's 2 solutions here. What the SAT will test you is this part. They usually don't ask this one because usually nobody make mistake here. They just plus 3. What if people make mistake is this part. This one's negative 3, so they forgot this solution here. So they usually, on SAT, they'll ask you, what is there are solutions here. They will say there's a solution, but they will only want a negative solution or the more negative solution. Okay, so if you got 5 and 1, you're gonna choose the more negative one. So you're gonna choose the 1. So therefore, this is a solution that people always forget. Got it? So we can try one to see if you guys can do it.
That wasn't that hard.
No, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't supposed to be hard. So we're gonna see. Hold on, that's not working. Plus 1 minus 1 minus, let's say minus 4.
2, 10.
Okay, so let's see if you guys can do that, and then we're gonna talk about what happens if you have minus. You're gonna finish first one and get an answer, check with each other, see if they get the same answer before you move on.
Alright. Just finish that one first. The next one.
That's the first question I've got.
So what do I do first step?
You minus plus the 4. and
Plus 4, right? Are we okay here?
Yep.
I'm gonna divide by 2. So I'm gonna get x minus 1 squared is equal to 4.
Square root.
Square root both sides, but don't forget what?
Plus minus.
Plus minus, thank you. X minus 1 is equal to plus minus square root of 4. So x equal to plus minus 2. So x is equal to 1 plus 2. 1 minus 2. So that's equal to 3 and negative 1. So what the people on SAT is going to ask you is this one solution right here. It's not the other one. They always ask you the negative one because people are not going to make mistake here. Now what's the difference between this question and this question? Okay, so after the, before the equal sign, there's no number, but there's also another thing that is crucial difference.
It's negative.
It's negative. So what we do when it's negative, when I divide by 2 on both sides, what will happen?
Negative 9.
But what happens here if you have negative 9? If I square root, what will happen?
Your I numbers will appear.
Your I is gonna appear, but you have to see what happened. If I'm gonna square root both sides, and I'm gonna get plus minus, right? So square and square root cancel out, so that's gonna be x plus 3 equal to plus minus. Well, square root of 99, that's equivalent to square root of -1 times square root of 9. Does that make sense? This is square root of -1 times square root of 9 equal to square root of -9. That's gonna be x plus 3 is equal to plus minus I times 3, so it'll be 3I. So it'll be x equal to plus minus x plus 3 is equal to, let me rewrite that again, x plus 3 is equal to plus minus 3I. So x equal to -3 plus minus 3I. Equal to x equal to -3 plus 3I, or x equal to -3 minus 3I. So those are the two solutions that even you can deal with the i's. So we're gonna put everything in puzzle together. We're connecting everything. Square root of -1 is gonna give you an I. So sometimes you're gonna get answer that's negative, but doesn't mean anything else. It means something you can do. So that's the only one that's a square function. Square function, if you square root both sides, you gotta get plus minus. On the test, if you forgot a minus, automatic counts wrong, because you're supposed to get two solutions. Question about this part?
You should give us another one.
Okay, one last one here. So let's say, if I have 3x plus 1 squared, that's equal to -12. You should be able to finish your problem. Linear equation, I'll wait till you finish that one. Will you finish your previous one? Your answer should have been what?
X equals -1 plus 2y, and x equals -1 minus 2y.
So -1 plus 2i, and -1 plus 2i. Does that make sense? So we're gonna talk about solve linear equation. We're still in algebra 1, and those are the very important. Now, if one thing I pick in algebra 1 that asks you for sure you need to know is how to graph an equation. Graph a linear equation, for example. Okay, and that we can talk about later. But right now, if I were to solve equation, I will actually ask you to solve literal equation. Literal equation is super, super important. And it's applying to what? Algebra 1, pre-algebra, algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus. Now, not just only in the math part, and all the calculus, all the math class you're gonna take in the future. Now, non-math courses will be biology. You can use this in biology. You can use this in chemistry. You can use it in physics, you can use it in economics, statistics, psychology. Pretty much a lot of things that you can think of is not English. That you actually have to solve literal equation. So for example, in geometry, we do this question. We says, hey, we have a rectangle. And this rectangle has length and width. We says, hey, what will be the area? Area is equal to what?
Length times width.
Length times width, right? And for sometimes we say, hey, can you solve for L? So solve for L. Then that's A equal to L times W. We want to get L by itself, so what do? Divided by W. So L is equal to A over W, right? Or it could be a circle, right? It says area, what's the area of a circle?
2 pi r.
Pi.
2 pi r. Oh wait, area of circle.
Area of
Square.
circle.
Square.
Thank you,
I
Liz.
just said it.
Let's go.
No, you said 2 pi r. So easier to remember, pi r squared is like this. I had a little kid told me this. It's really easy to remember the area of a circle, pi r squared, which is kind of oxymoron, so pi is never squared. So pi r squared. So it's pi r squared, right? So we can say solve for r. How do I solve for r?
Get R by itself.
Yeah, get r by itself, r equal to something. You divide by pi, good. I'm gonna divide it by pi. So I'm gonna get a over pi is equal to r squared. But how do I get rid of square?
Square root.
Square root, good. So then r is equal to square root of a over pi. And you say plus minus, but the problem is you don't need to worry about negative part here because there's no r is gonna be negative. Radius can never be negative in this case. Radius is distance. So you just say what is plus square root of a over pi. So those are easy, right? Now we'll get to somewhat a little bit more difficult. How about the perimeter of this? What is perimeter?
You add.
2L.
You add
all-
all-
add all sides.
Okay, so this one's W, and this one's L, right? So it'd be equal to 2L plus 2W. And we say solve for L. How do I do that?
Get L by itself.
How do I do that first?
Divided by 2.
U minus 2W.
Minus 2W, good, so it'd be P minus 2W equal to 2L. Are we okay here? Nicole, are we okay here? We get L by itself. This is L we were solving for, right? And we're gonna get it by itself, so we're gonna get rid of 2W first. We change it to the on this side. And we're gonna divide it by 2 on both sides. So that's equal to L is equal to what? P minus 2W over 2. Now there's a second way to represent the same answer. I can split them, is equal to P over 2 minus 2W over 2. So that's equal to P over 2 minus W. So this is the first representation, the second representation of an answer. Those are the easy ones. I don't think I need to go through too many easy ones, but there are some harder ones. I call it pig problem, and I named this pig problem is because I can arrange them different ways. So this is a pig problem. P equal to I over I minus G. And the second pig problem is 1 over P plus 1 over I equal to 1 over G. So they both solve for I. And this one is solve for I. We're gonna ask you to do the second one by yourself. But the first one, I'm gonna help you. So if I wanna solve for I, that means your final goal is to be I is equal to something here on this side, but with no I's. So on this side I have no I, just on this side I by itself. Okay, so I don't want to see any I's on the right side of the equation, but I'm gonna see an I, just one single I on the left side of the equation. How do I get that accomplished?
Would you multiply it?
Would you
by both
multiply?
sides?
You cannot multiply by I on both sides. Because
it's gonna be
I minus G.
You're not trying to get I. If you multiply I on both sides, that's gonna get PI, and here it's gonna be I squared over I minus G.
That works, John.
What about?
So subtract
Add the G.
Subtract I.
Now here's my proposal is. My proposal is what we learned in the past. What do we learn in the past? Do we like fractions?
No.
No.
So how do we get rid of fraction?
Reciprocal.
Not reciprocal here.
Conjugate?
No, not conjugate, because that's only deal with radical.
Not reciprocal, reciprocal.
What?
Dividing.
You cannot divide because you cannot split bottoms two terms.
Wouldn't it be I divided by I minus G?
I mean, I
No.
know, I think I know how.
That's what I was.
Not really.
Do you multiply
Multiply by what?
by
I
G?
minus G.
The G to the.
Not G.
Okay.
I
know
plus
what
I minus G.
But.
I minus G, thank you. So
Oh,
P
okay.
equal to I. So think about I is iguana. And think about the G is a giraffe. Like a long neck giraffe. And the P is a pig. Okay? So we're gonna tell you a story. We're gonna say, hey, this one is on the bottom. There's a cage on the bottom here, and there's an iguana right here underneath the cage. So we need to make sure this on the top, like maybe move this on the top. So I'm gonna multiply both sides by I minus G parentheses. Make sure you do that. When I multiply to this side, what will happen on the right side?
You know, also
Cancel.
multiply.
You cancel the left with I. On this side, it's gonna be P times I minus G.
But I thought there was no I on the other side.
But the problem is I on two separate sides. So think about a parenthesis is a cage. I is inside, I have iguana is inside with the page, it doesn't get along with the giraffe, obviously. So, so therefore, we kind of have to rescue that I. How do we rescue that I? How do we break the cage?
Break it up.
How do we break a cage?
Distribute.
Distribute, right? So then I have no cage anymore. I can break it up.
Okay.
Now we have an I on two separate sides, right? We got on the left side, I got pig and iguana. I got pig and giraffe. I got iguana on the other side. I didn't really isolate iguana by itself. Iguana's on both sides. So can I get iguana on one side first?
Divided.
You cannot divide.
Yeah, it can't be one then.
How do I get iguana on one side? Do we have iguana here? We have iguana on this side, so what do I do?
Subtract.
Subtract what?
I.
Not I, you cannot subtract I,
Okay.
because we don't, there's a multiplication.
PG.
Subtract B I.
Subtract pi, good.
Oh.
Oh, okay, like this.
So then I'm gonna get negative pg is equal to I minus pi, right? So obviously we got I in one side now. If I have an I in one side, but there is two I, there's an iguana here, and there's a pig and iguana wanna play with each other. But we say, hey, we wanna get I by itself. How do we do that?
Divide by P.
Divide B.
You can divide it by p because if you divide by p here, then it's gonna be I over p, pi over p is gonna be I. That's not helping you.
You
No.
don't add anything. Do you divide?
You don't divide either.
Then what do you do?
Multiply.
That's the answer then?
One of the things that we've been using all the time,
Square root.
what says factor?
Vector.
Good, factor. How can I get factor here? What do I factor out here?
I. Oh.
I. So that's gonna be 1 minus p, right? And this one's minus pg. Now can I get I by itself?
Yeah.
Divide both sides by what?
One.
Not I.
One minus P.
1 minus p, so this minus pg is equal to I times 1 minus p. I'm gonna divide it by both sides by 1 minus p, so 1 minus p will cancel. So that's equal to, I is equal to, this cancel out, right? So that's equal to negative pg over 1 minus p. Or, I can put a negative sign down here, so it's gonna be pg over p minus 1. So that's both the answers. If you get one of those answers, you did good. So now I want you to solve for I here.
For the second one, where did the negative go? Oh, never mind.
Okay, we're learning all the things that we didn't learn. We don't like fractions. We know how to factor. We know how to distribute. So all the tools should be enough to help you to solve 1 over p plus 1 over I equal to 1 over g. You see that stand for pig, P-I-G? Now we're gonna find iguana. I swear, second period I thought iguana was a bird, but it's not a bird.
Iguana was a bird?
I don't know. Because I don't know my end
Do you know what it is now?
Now I know.
What
It's
is
a
it?
lizard.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Lizard.
chameleon.
Um,
But obviously both are lizard, so it's not chameleon. Chameleon can change color, iguana doesn't change color. Wait, does iguana change color?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, really?
I remember I saw iguana now, because I come to think about it, students show me the iguana. In Miami, you see them like walking around.
Yeah.
Walk around, just.
In Puerto Rico, you said everywhere.
Yeah, I see them everywhere. They look like on the street. So solve for I. How do I solve for I here?
Like, have around, can you see pictures of shit? I don't know.
You multiply
Oh,
P.
oh, I didn't see that.
Well, do you like fractions? If you multiply by p, am I gonna get fraction on the other two terms? Do you like fractions?
No.
So how do you get rid of fraction all at the same time? We learned this.
Oh, the,
Okay, the bracket, okay, good. What do I multiply? Go ahead, keep on going.
Like
I
you.
over I mean 1 over I.
No. You wanna get rid of all three at the same time.
PIG? No?
PIG, yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Let's go.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm getting a 3%, I'm not getting a 3%, that's what we're not doing. I'm excited, I feel like I'm not.
Wait, wait, so what's your grade right now?
I don't know, he has to put it, I don't want, don't put it, can you wait till after Wednesday?
No, I'm gonna put it.
Okay.
Oh, your iPad's
I'm
dying.
like 77 in this class.
Your iPad's dying.
I got a 75.
But I'm getting, I'm getting
I'm
actually
gonna
kind
care
of
about
great.
it or not.
Yeah, for those people who are coming to a
But
correction.
like how
I
much?
did. It was in it.
Okay.
So we got 87.
Was it recording still?
It is,
Yeah.
but it's dying.
Dying, okay, that's
I'm dying. Okay, that's good.
good. Okay, so how do I get I?
Bracket.
Bracket, okay? What do I multiply by?
By
PIG.
Letters.
Pig.
Pig,
Pig.
good.
Yeah.
PIG.
Piggy.
So what am I gonna get on this part?
IG.
IG. Iguana and a giraffe.
Yeah.
Plus
Oh,
PG, right?
Paul George.
Yay!
Okay, G cancel out, that's gonna give you PI,
PI.
right? Now I got I on both sides, what do I do?
You got IG on the other side.
Not divide, how do I move it to the other side?
Why
Minus IG, so I'm gonna get PG equal to PI minus IG. How do I get I by itself?
Square root.
No.
Factor?
Take out factor, good.
Walk slowly. And then now you can add G, okay?
No, I'm gonna get I by itself.
Oh, divide P minus G.
Divide
to
by
the side.
PG.
There you go, I is equal to PG over P minus G.
Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really big pig.